Hello and welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I wanted to share with you some of the work that I did outdoors that I actually forgot to record, and it was so hot I just didn't think about recording at the time. So I want to show you some of the work that I did yesterday. And I want to share with you some areas of the garden that I've never showed you before. Now, I said I was going to share with you areas of the garden that I've never showed you before, but it's not really my garden. But you know me, I am going to put a plant everywhere I possibly can put one. So I'm going to take you to the side of my house and show you some of my grow bags and some of the work that I did yesterday. So let's just go and get started. In this space here, I have some blueberry bushes as well as some flowers and cranberries, and I also had more weeds than anything. We put down some very heavy weed suppression material. I use this in the garden as well, but I put it in this space so I don't have to worry about weeds. And this is also the space where I have my sweet potatoes. So the sweet potato vines will trail over and onto this area here, and I don't have to worry about all the weeds in this space. I still have 2 empty pots here. Hopefully more sweet potatoes will go in those pots. And I've shared this area before, but let's move to the more to the side of the house so you can see some of the other containers that I have. I don't believe I've ever showed you this side of the house. This is a west facing side of the house, so it gets that very warm evening sun, but it does not get any morning sun. And so I have in here my mashed potato squash in this container, and look how full it is. And it's only getting evening sun, but it looks amazing. This container here has my buttercup squash growing in it, and it's already trailing and it's getting ready to put blooms on. And this is Australian butter squash here. And actually, these are my biggest plants in the whole garden. I mean, once I planted them out here, they just took over, and that hot evening sun and the warmth off of the side of the house, I believe, is what helped these take off to look so well, to do so well. And these last 2 pots here, you know, if I have soil and I have a pot, I'm going to put something in it. So this here, I believe, is cantaloupe of some kind. I don't remember. I didn't mark it. I just threw seeds in it. And then in this pot next to it is watermelon, and it's not doing very well. This here, these are watermelon that I pulled from another area and just stuck them in the pot. And I didn't water or anything, so I don't think they're going to survive. But now I'm seeing a seed over here starting to come up, and that is a watermelon seed. So maybe we'll get something in that pot, and maybe not. But all of these containers only get evening sun. And if you'll look down, you'll see that weed suppression paper or cloth material throughout this whole space. So typically we weed this area and we put in new mulch every other year or so, but we haven't put down a good quality paper until now. So we put that paper out yesterday in this 90-degree weather. I don't know what we were thinking, but we were pulling weeds and putting paper down in this space. I also have a few other plants up here. That is actually rhubarb right there. There's rhubarb, and then I also have rhubarb right there. I only wanted 1 rhubarb plant, and I ended up with quite a few. And so I just needed to find a place to put them where they could come back every year, because rhubarb is a perennial. So there was rhubarb. And then here are some of the flowers that I started indoors from seed. And this was the area that we worked on. So this is the front of the house now. This part only gets just is part sun in this space here. So these hostas grow like crazy. Now, I didn't put these hostas in. They were here when I moved here 16, almost 17 years ago now, and they have continued to flourish in this space. But we got all of this paper down in this space here. We still have the very front that we need to take care of. And we got to get all of our solar lights back in place, but we spent some time out here working yesterday. There's a few other perennial flowers in this space. So let's see how these containers do. I'll make sure I share a video in this space here at least once a month as these containers continue to grow, but they are doing great. You see, we didn't finish with the paper. I wanted to make sure we didn't run out of paper before we got to the garden. So let me show you what I did in the garden when it comes to the paper. I purchased a 300-foot roll of this fabric to put down for weed suppression. I worked in the front and I saw it was getting kind of low, so I stopped working in the front and I came back to the garden so I could get the paper down in the garden. I tell you what, I half put it down. I cut it as quickly as I could and I stapled it to the wood beds, to my raised bed. I have a stapler and I just stapled the corners right to the bed itself. Now the fabric is actually 4 feet wide. This is only a 2-foot space or walkway, so the fabric was too large in quite a few places, but I spaced it out as best I could, and I didn't cut it because why cut it? That's just an extra step. But I wanted to make sure that I don't have any trip hazards in here, but I papered this whole space. There's only 2 spaces that I haven't put the fabric down, and that's this space here and the one right next to it. But I just put the fabric down last year, and this is heavy duty fabric. It should last many, many years, but you can see there's a lot of trash and debris that gets on top. And when you have the trash and the debris on top, it gives weeds something to grow into. So you can see here, this weed is trying to grow into the paper there. If I have any paper left once I finish the front flower beds, then I may come back and do these last 2 spaces. Thank you for joining me for this quick update on how I'm getting rid of all of the weeds in my grow space. Don't like weeds, but I want to get rid of them the easiest way possible and to keep them from coming back. And then I wanted to make sure you saw the last grow area that I'm putting things in that you may have not seen before, but I'll make sure I'm giving you updates in that space going forward. Thank you. As always, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you back here again real soon. Bye.